and I'm here today to talk about brands. Brands are everywhere. Whether you're watching TV or if you're listening to the radio or you're watching the news, you're probably hearing a lot about brands. That's because they are everywhere. I know that you probably hear a lot that a brand is a logo. A brand is not a logo. A brand is not a logo. A brand is not a logo. That's one thing I want to make clear, is that a brand is not a logo. A logo is a part of a brand. It is a brand element, but it's not the brand itself. A brand does include color schemes, and it also includes fonts, and it also includes websites, and it also includes taglines, and all these different things are just part of the brand itself. These are brand elements, but they're not the brand in and of itself. Let me just define that for you. A brand is a combination of all of these elements in entirety. That is hopefully it is your secret sauce. Your secret sauce should be what you're putting out there as your brand. And when I say secret sauce, I'm talking about that special, yummy, unique ingredient that is you. That's your secret sauce, your competitive advantage when compared to other brands. That's what's going to make you stick out from the pack. And yes, that's amplified by your logo and your taglines and your fonts and your brand experience even. But the brand itself, that's everything rolled up in one delicious nugget. So a brand is a perception. A brand is what people think of in their minds when they hear your brand name. Whether it's for good or for bad, what resonates in their head. But that's the brand. And that's why it's a combination of all these lovely, delicious little nuggets because together in entirety, they formulate this image in people's mind. That's your brand. That is the mark that you're leaving in people's minds. Just think about Apple. Apple, of course, is the epitome of such a great brand. Why? Because, okay, yes, we know that Apple has the Apple logo. We also know about the white earbuds and the white iPads and iPhones and everything else, and you know the Apple Store and the Apple experience. But part of the brand with all of these brand elements are all about being innovative. And that's why its tagline for Apple is, of course, think different, because the whole point of Apple is to be different, to be unique, to be different, to stand out from everyone else. We're going to be on top of technology. We are number one. That's what Apple is putting out there as its overall brand. You can even think of Nike. When you see Nike, most things that come to your mind is a swoosh. Yes, once again, that's another logo brand element. But when you think about Nike, what do you think about? You think about athletes and this, being strong, athletic, and pushing things to the limit. And Nike is all about the Nike experience, and it has an app, the Nike app that people use, and of course the clothing. These are all different pieces of Nike, but the overall feel, the overall experience about Nike is about pushing things to the limit athletically and being at the forefront. So that's the Nike brand. McDonald's is another brand. I always use the example of McDonald's because it's a classic example. Yes, there are the golden arches, but that's a brand element. And it's so embedded in our brains. We see the golden arches and we immediately think of, well, I think of French fries, of course. We think of the food, the actual product, but McDonald's is also synonymous with fast food, of course. It's the fast food. It already had a past campaign about food, folks, and fun, and then it moved from food, folks, and fun to I'm loving it, and it was about being young and on the go and grabbing a McDonald's, and that was what McDonald's was putting out there pretty successfully. Some of my favorite brands are usually people. Yes, people can actually be brands. For good or for bad, people can be brands. And just think of, for instance, you think of Michael Jordan. When you think of him, you think of a top athlete, basketball, wins that he's had, strength of an athlete. And that's his brand, perfection. Kim Kardashian. And in your mind, she is a pinup and she's, a celebrity, and she's very, very crafty with her personal brand and the message that she's putting out there. And so is her team. The media likes to tinker and play with people's brands, which is why I always say for personal branding, you should be driving the ship. You should be steering your personal brand. If you do not define your brand, if you do not define yourself and your brand, people will define you for you. And you don't want that. You don't want people and just making up what's in their minds about what your brand is. No, you want to be steering the ship, and you want people to know what your brand really is. So personal branding is key. Keep that in mind. Yes, you do need to hold on to your brand and control the message, the product. That is you. You are your own product. So personal branding is very real. Once again, think of Michael Jordan and the Kardashians, and think of the president. All brands, we all know them in our head, and we have our own visions of them. But of course, the brands are also pushing out what they believe they are actually like. Now I know, I probably have you thinking, who am I? I'm a brand? Who am I? Oh my goodness, I'm a brand. Who am I? Who am I? Don't worry, there's no need to panic. I have a free branding checklist that you can get by clicking on the link below. Download that information and begin working and crafting what your brand is. You can start fine-tuning your brand today. And that's a brand.